So who we got here? Who is that?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marcus Brett, founder and host of the XY Perspective. I have with me tonight my distinguished panel, Andre Williams, Leonard Love, Jesse Archie, soon to be joining us, Tony Simmons, and Marcus Madison. The XY Perspective is a talk space for men, and this talk space is dedicated to the betterment and the uplifting of men to create the best version of themselves. We are also focused on managing emotion and accountability. We also want to help men change their mindset to not only take their lives back, but take their communities back and families back as well. What we're going to go over tonight is shame and guilt. And this is a tough conversation that men need to have, but never do. So I've been tasked the panel with questions and with scenarios that we're going to go over, and hopefully we can start creating cracks in the wall so that men's emotional availability and emotional, or I'm sorry, their mental stability comes back into play. So, gentlemen, if you're ready, we want to get tonight's show started, and we start on time here at the XY Perspective. So, let's do it. All right, good evening, men. Y'all ready for this?
We ready, man.
All right, let's do it. All right,
Ready.
fellas, tonight's show on shame and guilt is called Shame on Me, bringing dark to light. Why did I pick that title? The things that have happened to us, even as a child and as an adult, have sometimes created a measure of shame or brought guilt into our life. This shame and this guilt impacts us as a man. It impacts our decisions and our choices that we make moving forward. And sometimes we don't even know. What we're tasked to do tonight is to break down what shame is to you, what guilt is to you, and how we can help other men understand it so they can deal with it themselves. Let's do it. The first question I have for the panel, I want each guy to go over the answer, is what is your definition of shame?
Okay, I'll start. Um, well, my definition of shame is the failure to myself. Right, whenever I let myself down, I bring shame uh, to my name, and to my family, and that type of thing. So shame to me is letting myself down. I don't live a standard for everyone else. I live it for myself, and so that's my definition of shame in its own form, if you will.
Mr. Brad, I gotta agree. I'm gonna follow on with what he just said. Mine's is embarrassment. If I'm ashamed of something, I'm embarrassed.
True.
I gotta do the best thing I can do as a man, as a father, as a brother, as a cousin, as a family member, blah blah blah. That's my words on that, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Mr. Simmons, thanks for joining me.
Oh, thank you, sir, for the invite, as always.
Yes, sir.
For me, shame early in life was the exact same thing, an embarrassment, something I hung my head down and I beat myself up about.
Mm.
Now, later in life, I've learned shame is an opportunity to make corrections, to help myself improve so others can see that it's not something that you have to continue to linger with in a negative perspective. Learn from it. Recognize that You have strength and ability to make change, to adapt, because that's what life itself is going to always give you, those challenges. And if you let the enemy push the button of embarrassment and all the negativity, others will read on that and you will carry them down that same path. So I learned a little later in life uh, to take advantage of what I recognized and saw and put forth the effort to do better.
Okay. Mr. Archie, if you can.
I'm gonna be ashamed if I burn these shrimp. Um, but I agree with everyone else. Shame is the embarrassment.
Okay.
The embarrassment of failure.
Okay. So we went over shame, and that's your definition. Now, the question: without using the same definition for shame, give me your definition of guilt.
And so here's the thing. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers, but I have some. I feel guilty about a lot of things, but I feel proud about a lot of things too. I'm not gonna sit here and make myself sad all the dang on time.
Okay.
I'm proud of myself. If
Yep.
you ain't proud of yourself, then I don't know who you are. You have to build yourself up because ain't nobody else gonna build you up. Everybody else gonna try to take you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I think that guilt is more the feeling from knowing that you made the wrong decision. So guilt is more of a punishment, I guess, that you give yourself for knowing that you made the wrong decision.
Okay. All right.
For me, guilt is just simply a recognition, recognizing that the choice that I made, it probably just didn't come out the correct way, and
Okay.
take that guilt and again, you can't heal yourself until you begin to recognize that there's something wrong. That guilt will tell me that something is wrong. I recognize it and do my best to improve and do better on that.
Yeah. Yeah, feeling guilty is guilt is a response, a reaction from something, right? So if I have done something that I am not proud of or otherwise, right? Then you have a reaction to that action, and that's what guilt is. That is the remorse, right? Or the feeling of something that you know you did or didn't do. A reaction, if you will.
Yes, sir. In my research, I've found that shame is more of an external emotion, and guilt is more of an internal emotion. So that's the difference between the two. And I'm glad Leonard brought up the fact of being proud. I'm gonna read y'all a statement that I wrote down, and I want y'all to tell me what you think. Pride is not the opposite of shame, but it's the source of shame. Only true humility can be the antidote for shame. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, if you could read that again for me, please.
Yeah. Read it again, please.
Pride is not the of shame. It's the source of shame. Only true humility can be the antidote for shame. Agree or disagree?
So my question is, who on this phone is not proud of themselves? I'm quite sure everybody is. It's rhetorical. That's rhetorical. I know everybody proud of themselves. I'm
Okay.
proud of me. Ain't you proud of you?
Mm-hmm. But my statement is Too much pride can bring on shame because you don't want to admit to something that's either happened to you or you've done and you feel ashamed about it, but you too pride to admit it. See, too much pride can be the source of your shame. Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, it's real. That's a very good question, man. And I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
That would be a true statement, man. You know, I am a proud person from a perspective of what I am as an individual, a human being, a man. I'm proud of that, but I am not too proud, right, to admit when I'm wrong, ask for help when I need it, right, and that type of thing. So um, I'm a proud person, but I don't let my pride or being proud interfere with me becoming or trying to do better.
And I'm glad you brought those other points up.
That
I'm
makes
glad
sense.
you brought those up.
That makes
I'm with
sense.
the other guys
That
now.
makes, that makes sense.
But gentlemen, if you can, if you're in a position, please leave the cameras on. We all like. I want everybody to see our handsome faces. But if you do have to go away or step away, we can turn it off. But if we can leave so the people can actually see who's talking, I appreciate it.
My kitchen is not presentable. I apologize.
Yes.
I'm a man. I'm a man cooking.
It's all right.
There's someone trying to get in, Mark.
Okay. And Leonard, Tony, just anybody agree or disagree with that statement?
I disagree.
Disagree?
Because I disagree mainly because everybody's being told that pride is a bad thing. But I mean, what is pride other than to be proud? So the term pride is kind of watered. They've watered it down to where we think to have pride is a bad thing, but it's not always a bad thing. So when you say pride, it depends on how you define that term.
Right. And I think what we were saying was too much pride.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that Andre touched on was
What is too much pride?
Not being able to admit when you're wrong.
That's not pride. That's arrogance.
I think that's one and the same emotion.
I don't think they are.
Okay.
Because arrogance shows almost a privilege or deserving of. Where, like I said, pride is proud. I mean, there's a difference between pride and arrogance. You can be proud of yourself and even admit that you're wrong, but an arrogant person will never admit that.
And that's why the second part of the statement is true humility is the answer. Because pride can be a slippery slope for a whole bunch of things. And it can go a whole bunch of different ways. But if you're humble, and as Andre touched, if you're able to say, I screwed up, and then do the work to fix it, that can be your antidote for shame and too much pride. But you're absolutely right. Arrogance is up there. I think arrogance is high in the list next to pride. But if we don't have any humility behind it, then that's when pride can turn into arrogance. Mr. Simmons.
I think Mr. Simmons is trying to get in.
Okay,
let him in.
Let me check.
I'm gonna say it like this. Yeah, he's right. You can't overrate pride, but I do have to say that. Guess what? I love me some me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I don't think that's history. I think we all have love for self. You have to. You must.
Yeah.
But when we allow things that we do or things that happen to us to dictate how we move forward, then that becomes the issue. But Mr. Timothy, sorry, we lost you back.
Oh,
What you
I'm
got?
good. I feel the exact same way. Pride is a good thing to have. It's a motivator, especially when it's a self motivator to get you to continue to do the things that you feel good about.
Mhm.
Too much of anything, the word already tells us it's a sin. Too much pride changes pride to a different word and a different meaning altogether. Arrogance, egotistic, you label it that way, it's because you have too much of it. And people will pick up on that as well. And they see you coming and they'd rather go the other way than to have you come and mess it up for them.
And go ahead. You got to say.
No, I'll say this, man. Nobody likes and a know-it-all. You know, everybody knows somebody, right? Who knows everything, right? Has been everywhere, has done it all, said it all, seen it all. Nobody likes that kind of person, man. So it's important to understand who you are as an individual, right? And be proud of the things that you have accomplished as a man, as a husband, father, all those different kind of things. But nobody likes a know-it-all, somebody who doesn't admit when they're wrong or cannot say, I'm sorry. We know those individuals too, right? That just will never say, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I messed up. So I think it's important to be proud, prideful,
That's the
proud.
word.
You know, those two words are not interchangeable to me, right? But we still have to be able to humble ourselves enough to admit when we're wrong.
I think Uncle Dre been reading my notes. I was going to say we can differentiate the two with pride and prideful,
Mhm.
like full of pride. That is not it. That's the bad. So
A lot of people don't understand that listening is the key. I mean, you can learn a lot from people just by listening. Just listen to what they're saying. Well, if it's right or it's wrong, you still can learn something. I don't care
and,
how old you are. You could be 78, you could be 14, but you still can learn something from somebody.
and here's the point of the XY perspective. When I picked this panel with middle and over middle aged guys to have conversation so that our sons can listen. They may not hear very well, but they'll listen. And then the goal is for them to teach their kids the same information. And that way we get a cycle going. And we break these curses, we break these generational whatever. But we've been waiting on somebody else too long, so now we have to do it. And this is what we're doing here. And what we just did was make sure that some people understand that, yes, I'm a proud man, but I do have to admit when I'm wrong. I do have to say, I'm sorry. I do have to say I screwed up and then be humble enough to accept change.
Amen.
So that's what we're doing here. And I'm going on to question 2 if y'all ready. No? No? Okay.
Lay it on us.
Okay. We've all know and define what guilt was. And I want y'all to give me an example of something that someone said or did to you, accused you of, that you were not guilty.
Well, I can go first. So mine goes back a while.
Okay.
As a youngster, I'm gonna
Yes,
go that far back. First of all, I want to say this. Um, Yeah, no, I won't say that. I have to remember some things. So, okay, so I'll go
Okay.
back to as a youngster. We used to walk everywhere. As I was growing up, man, we didn't have the mode of transportation or didn't have the funds to jump on the bus and do things like that. So we walked a lot of places. So about 2.5 miles from where we lived was a store, Value City, growing up, and we used to walk up there quite regularly, and spend our little change that we would have, man, and just walking around the store. And if I'm being honest, as a youngster, we were up there, man, trying to let our sticky fingers sometime, right, go to work. But this particular time, we were just in the store, man, just hanging out, looking at in the sporting goods area and things, and we had a little bit of money in our pocket. Anyway, long story short, we were accused
Mhm.
of stealing. Now, on any other day, as I just stated, they might have gotten us, right? Might have been right. But on this particular day, it was not true. And I mean, the police were called and everything. And for me, I didn't really understand, right, how it worked. Because for me, I'm like, well, if I'm stealing, where is what you say I stole? Where's it at on me? If you haven't found or don't see this item that you claim I stole, which at the time it was some candy, it was some candy, right? Well, then how can you accuse me of stealing? They
Right.
called the police. Now, again, any other time they'd have been right. This particular time they weren't. So that's one of the occasion, man, where I and I had to go back that far, to be honest, man. I had to go back that far because I didn't have any other stories to bring forth about something like that. So that's my story. I was accused of stealing. We did, and at that day, I was simply just up there, just looking around, and I had some money in my pocket to buy the candy if I wanted it. I just,
Do you
yeah.
do you think you had like any external factors that caused to the accusation? Was race involved? You think?
Well, no, like I said, I really don't believe that was the case because ordinarily we would have been caught dead right. But this particular day, they just, they probably knew that we were there before and had stole something, right? And this particular time we came in, they were waiting for us, kind of like to set up or whatever. But they were wrong, man. And the police did. They had a talking with us, wanted to call the parents, but I wasn't giving out no information, man. I knew I was innocent till
Yes, sir.
proven guilty. So
Now,
I just I
did
I
that have
didn't offer up
did that
anything.
have an impact?
It did. It really did. Because yeah, I never stole another thing in my life. And my mama used to tell me something, or tell us as children, something growing up. And I still remember it to this day, and I even use it sometimes. She said, if you'll steal, you'll kill. If you'll kill, you'll do anything, or something to that
Right.
nature, right?
Right.
And so yeah, man, that was the last time that I would do anything like that, criminally, right? I've never been in trouble in my life, and I'm proud of that. So that did teach me a lesson, right, in life. I didn't want to go down that path, man. I have friends and even close relatives. I ain't gonna tell on myself. I have some close relatives, man, that have done some things that they're not proud of and did some time in jail,
Hmm.
prison, right? And so I didn't want to go down that path, man. I was not one of those individuals. So it taught me a very important lesson. Thank God, right?
Yes, sir.
That he taught me that at an early age.
Yes, sir. And thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
Who's next? Who's next?
For me, it was quite similar to the scenario that was just stated. Down at the corner mom and pop store, I am less than 15 years of age. I go into the store and was going to pick up, I can't remember what mom had sent me down there to get. And I got accused of stealing. And my aunt, she came to the store and saw the store owner confronting me and then asking me, you better put back what you got, and I want you to empty all of your pockets. And so she took off and ran to the house, and here come mom, grandmom, aunt, everybody coming. And come to find out, I hadn't taken a thing. But it was quite embarrassing to me that the person would even think along those lines that I would come there to do that. Not knowing that I knew the consequences. If I had picked up something in that store that didn't belong to me, those same people that showed up to defend me, I would have been better off in jail because it wasn't going to be nice. And I'm talking about starting at the store all the way to the house.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
But that was just one of those things that was a life learning lesson for me. And it helped me to understand that sometimes you don't have to find bad things. It'll find you
Yes, sir.
and other people in the way that they perceive and do things. And it was a life learning lesson for me. But that scenario stuck with me all through my life. And even if I just sideways thought about trying to pick up something, no, that wasn't going to happen. And that's something that has been instilled in me all my life. And I definitely try to present that same sentiment to others, especially our young men. When I see them and talk with them, there is a better way than to make those types of choices.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and if I can, real quick, I remember the line how it goes. If you'll lie, you'll steal. If you'll
Yeah.
steal, you'll kill.
Yes.
That is the line. So it brought it back
Yes.
to memory. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
If you're a liar, you're a thief.
Yes. Yes.
Well, so far I got a panel full of things.
And you best believe my grandfather definitely instilled that in everyone in the family. You go to jail for stealing, I ain't coming to get you.
Yeah.
All right, that's the letter.
Okay, so I got the same story here. When I was a kid, I was a fucking thief. Excuse my language. I was a thief. And so, but anyway, so I'm sorry, Mr. Brad, rephrase that question again to make sure I'm answering it right.
Yeah, what's one thing you were accused of that you were not guilty?
Man, y'all gonna shake y'all head over this one. Y'all gonna shake your head. Y'all gonna shake your head. This was like 2 years ago or 3 years, however many. How about my damn family gonna accuse me of damn having sex with my fucking cousin? I'm like,
Oh,
are
no.
you serious?
Easy.
Man.
Never do nothing like that.
We got to keep you YouTube friendly.
I'm like, come on, are you serious? I'm not having sex with my damn cousin. With all these women out here, I can go get some damn pee anywhere. You gonna accuse me of having sex with my damn cousin?
Wow.
Has that had an impact on your family moving forward?
Oh, it's circled back around. I fixed everything. I fixed it all.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me. I'm like, God, are you serious? My cousin?
And I started with that question instead of the other because look how it impacted you from when it happened until now.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
We the whole family situation. Everybody know I ain't do
So-
no crazy. Yeah, they didn't know I ain't
So carrying around too much guilt can have a negative consequence or a negative impact on your decisions moving forward.
Yep.
Fortunately for you guys involved positive, from the accusation of stealing, never stole again. Some people don't get that, it don't click. And they'll rather carry the baggage and live with it instead of letting it go. And the thing that men do way too much is suffer in silence.
Mm-hmm.
We won't say nothing more, but we won't ask for help. We just say we all right. We won't go to the doctor until something fall off. And even then, we probably duct tape it back and keep going. So guilt is one emotion that men must deal with. And the ability to just talk about it is something that can help a lot of people because they never get the opportunity to say that. So I thank you guys for that. The next question is really hard. I want to give Jesse an opportunity if he wants to come in. If not, I'm going to go to the next.
Well, I'm accused of something daily. So to be accused of stuff, it doesn't bother me. I'm in construction, so anytime it goes wrong, it's my fault.
Yes, sir.
Anytime somebody doesn't show up at work, it's my fault. Anytime the material isn't delivered on time, it's my fault. I have nothing to do with any of these things. But I'm accused of something daily. So, to be accused doesn't bother me. It's what they do. And they is just anyone, no one specifically. So, yeah, I've been accused of stuff all the time that I don't do. I've been accused of not going to work while I'm at work. But that's just, like I said, that's just the nature of the profession that I'm in.
So
It doesn't bother me.
has it made you tone deaf to what other people say about you?
Yes, absolutely. I do not care. Say what you have to. It does not bother me at all. It doesn't change my direction,
Thank you.
anything, unless it's something that actually needs changing. No, I'm very good at what I'm using work as my example. I'm very good at what I do. It shows in the products that I turn over. So I don't concern myself with it. I let them talk. I enjoy it actually. I have a bad reputation and it precedes me, so I use it to my advantage.
That's interesting.
That's
interesting. I said that's interesting because for me, I actually do care what other people think, right, or say.
Yeah, do you care to the point to where it changes your course of action, or do you care to where you just internalize it and hold on to it?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're wrongfully accused of something, of course, there's not a whole lot you can do. The person thinks something, you can't change the way they think. However, I never want to be. It bothers me, I'll say, to for somebody to look at me in a light that I know is incorrect, right? And I don't know politically correct or not. It bothers me.
Okay, but the question is though, you can't change that. You can't
Right.
change what someone thinks of you. So to let that bother you, how does that affect you by letting that bother you?
Well, I guess it motivates me, right, to carry myself because there's some reason why they thought or think that negative thought towards you or whatever it is. There's a reason for that.
That's not always true.
Well, what we have to understand is
I agree with him on that one. I agree with him on that one. He's right.
that's why I was going to say there's got to be a delicate balance on what we let through the filter, so to speak. So we can choose to let everything in, or we can choose to block it all out. But I think there has to be a healthy balance. And if we just don't care what anybody says, we'll be too far extreme because we won't ever improve. Because any feedback will block it out. But if we let everything through, then we sandbag ourselves and then be paralysis by analysis. And man, I can't do nothing but it.
But one, we always have a defensive mechanism. So that's what it is. I gotta defend myself.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not letting nobody run over me.
Right. But like as men, some fights are beneath us. Some battle we choose not to engage. And we have to be smart about what we do engage and what we don't. Like
Yeah.
what's going to have the most impact on us that I have to deal with now. Because if you're lying, every time a dog barks, you're not going to turn around and look at that, right? You know, some stuff you just got to let go. But some things you do have to deal with. So I think there still must be a healthy balance. We had 2 comments. I'm going to read these comments from Justin Ross, my brother-in-law. He said, guilt can also cause us to be more reactive towards our loved ones. True. And he said, you can't change how people think, but you can influence it. I want to say something about the last one. You can't change how people think, but you can influence. And I think that's what Uncle Dre was trying to get at if you want to comment on it, anyone. No?
No, I'm good. I just feel like, yeah, you want, if, in some regard, man, I want people to know my character, right, is important. How I move and how I do things uh, in life is important to me, and so if somebody is saying I'm doing this or did this or what have you, if at all possible, I like to find out, hey, what's the reason behind the way you feel? What did I do? Did I do something? You know what I mean? I would rather have that conversation so that if there's something that I did or that I'm not aware of, maybe, right?
Okay.
If I carry myself in a manner that influenced you to feel the way you did, again, some things people gonna think. You think what you want to. If I'm out here hustling and grinding, right, and you get, you and your feelings or whatever, because I'm out here getting it, and you feel some kind of way about how I'm moving, then that's another thing. But you know what I'm saying, when it comes to how I treat people, how I move and how I do things. I want to be about my business, man. I really do. I don't want people to think that I'm an ogre or something and try to run over people. I don't want to be that person, if you
So
will.
I think it's a thing about a legacy as well. Like what was he known for, what he stands for, things
Mhm.
of that. So
Sure.
Hey, Mr. Brad, do we have
yes,
any gentlemen on here got anything to say? I mean, I would like to hear what they had to say about this communication,
what's that?
about what we're talking about. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
I read this in here right now.
yeah.
That was the last comment that I read. We got some interaction going on Facebook as well, and some viewers on YouTube. So yeah, the
Okay, yeah.
message is getting out. So I'm gonna hit you with the heavy. This is the fastball coming at you. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah, we ready.
Okay, here it is. What is one thing that you're ashamed of that you did?
Man.
And I'll break the ice with give y'all an opportunity. As y'all know, I retired from the military, and I spent a lot of years in the army, a lot of years doing stuff, a lot of years away from home. And being away from home also took me away from my kids. Subsequent, with me not being there, me choosing the military and the choices that I made to go my life, my kids had to grow up sort of without me. I was there, but I was doing a lot. I was divorced from my mom. I wasn't, you know, with the courts and everything. I wasn't able to ever get custody of them and be more in their life like I wanted to and like they wanted me to be. As a result, my kids' upbringing was tougher than it should have been. Now their adult is tougher than it should have been. And I blame myself for that. And not that I'm ashamed of my military service. I'm ashamed that I chose that route and not practice sooner to be with my kids. I know a lot of people say, man, that's your life, that's your career. They got bad things, blah, 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 blah. Can't really help the way I feel. You know, and then I see my kids, they are making it, but not how they want to be at this point and how I would like them to be at this point. And it's caused some animosity. And I want to do the best I can or the most that I can to rectify that, but it just takes time. And that's one thing that I'm ashamed of that I want to correct. And it's a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of crying in the closet. So you know how to, but I just pray that they're well and that we can get more time soon instead of this stuff, this stage that we're at right now. So that's the one thing that I would say.
Well, Mark, you know my story, man.
Yes, sir.
My dad not being in my life, and it takes a real man. So I commend you to admit, right, where you fell short, and that your story, man, in particular, touches me because of where I come from. And so, what I would say to you, Mark, man, just continue to strive, man, to be there for them. The older they get, right, the harder it becomes. And I know this for a fact to be true, man. So you have to put and make a concerted effort, right, to be there. And I'm not a counselor or anything like that, but man, I mean, your story touches me for obvious reasons. Those that know.
Yes, sir.
So thank you, man, for admitting your faults in that area. And if I can't, no, I let someone else. I just wanted to say that to you, nephew.
Okay.
So I'll let someone else comment first. But I appreciate you being man enough to admit that.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the comment. The nice words.
For me, there are quite a few things to be ashamed and embarrassed about. One in particular that's going to follow me till God calls me home, that I will not ever be able to make up or do anything about, because at the time that it was said to me, I was too busy doing and listening, as we all know, is a very strong component in life that we must have in order to achieve. My mother came to me and said, can I talk to you for a minute? And I'm 22 and a half years old, and we're living in an apartment. And she said, I want to see about getting a house. Will you be able to help me? I heard, but I didn't hear, because of things happening in my life at that young age, and trying to find a direction as to where I was going to go with my own life. Not fully understanding that she was asking me to help her do better in her life. She was working at Jackson's Hospital at the time, and I think her salary was $6-7 per hour, and having to be there at 5:30 in the morning, and it was just her saying, I'm struggling and I need some help. But I was so busy with my own life trying to make ends meet and do this, that, and other. And I'm sure you all can relate in some way when you're that young and trying to do. And it hurt me that I didn't hear my mom, who had sacrificed so much just to be able to put a roof over my head, take care of me as a single mom, this, that, and the other. And that bothers me even to this day. And I don't ever want myself to ever get so caught up that I don't hear when a family member, a loved one, or someone comes to me and asks of me. Because again, they may have that confidence in me. They may feel a certain way about my ability to be able to help them in some way. And I just don't ever want to feel that way again, looking back in my life, not being there for that loved one, for that someone who reached out to me. And needless to say, I just wished at that time I had been able to hear what mom was saying and the reason why she turned to me for that assistance.
Yes, sir. So, if I may add, she did turn to me, and there had to be a reason why. But do you think that you may have put too much on yourself, or tried? I mean, do you think you overestimated what you could accomplish that makes you feel bad about it?
Well, for me, I just wished I would have had the opportunity to at least try, because you just never know what could have been accomplished, what could have been done. I mean, because I look back and 6 or 7 years earlier, she had gone down to cosign for me to get my very first vehicle. And here she is reaching out to me, and I wasn't able to hear it to give back to her.
Yes, tough.
So to me, I missed an opportunity to at least help in whatever way I could have. And to have known that, again, it eats at me, and it bothers me. But it does make me much more acutely aware of when I'm listening now to my loved ones, my children, my nieces, my nephews and my grandchildren. I listen more intently now to make sure and to ensure
Great grandchildren.
I do. Oh yeah, great grands. So all of that from that moment now has made me a little bit more aware of the listening skill that it takes to be able to do and to move forward in life.
Yes, sir.
And if I can say real quick, because I'm not going to answer the question. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to answer the question, but I will say this, because there is I'll say this. I have come to learn that we as men, Black men, right, we need therapy. I'm going to say it again for the people in the back.
Yes, sir.
We need therapy. Okay. There's nothing wrong with it. All right. I have had therapy in my life, had someone to speak to listen to my issues and my problems and help me solve through them. Right.
Sir, this is therapy. This is therapy.
True. Facts. It is. Right.
Appreciate that.
And so in saying that, I want those that are watching or that might be in the chat and all of that stuff, I want you to understand that it is okay. It is needed for us to speak to somebody, preferably that we don't know, right? So we can't be judged and all of that other kind of stuff that can help us deal with the internal issues that we have had to endure, right, throughout our lifetime,
Yes, sir.
period. And I'll let somebody else have it from there.
And just before the last two, gentlemen, that's what the XY perspective is trying to do, to create an outlet
Hey
that.
Brad, hey
Yes,
Brad,
sir.
let me get mine in.
Okay, I got you. Yes, sir.
So this is what I'm embarrassed about. And so I had a co-worker I was stationed in Germany with one time. He was about to get promoted from private first class to specialist. And me and one of my sergeants went out there and dang on hazed him. And he was about to be the damn commander's behind. And I probably shouldn't have did that. I'm still upset about that. And y'all know who the person is.
If you don't, it was me. It was me. I got promoted, and I got smoked, and it was terrible. And I was angry. I was Hulk smash angry. And that man got in my face to give me my rent, and I didn't know what he's about to do. I was about to let him have it. I was about to be in Leavenworth, but knocking out of camp. So I should have been ashamed of that, but
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
it's all right. It's all right. I think I was like 19 at the time. It was traumatic.
19, 20, something like that.
It was traumatic. But yes, sir. I appreciate you for saying sorry. But I ain't gonna never forget all the blood kicks. Yes.
Oh no, we don't have time for my shame.
Oh, yeah, we got a little bit.
No, we're good. We don't have time for my shame. Plus, most of my shame is not something that I would put out on the internet.
Okay. I mean, I respect that. I respect that. And the whole point of the segment of that question was, can we admit what we're ashamed of out loud, even to other guys, without fear of judgment, without fear of looking bad, without making, being belittled and told you're less than me, like you're less than a man for admitting things that happened to you or done.
See, that's a different question. See, my circle, I can admit, we can talk about it. We'll get on each other. We'll make fun of each other, and then we'll laugh at it. And then we'll go back to whatever the shame was, and then we'll talk about it. But I keep a pretty tight circle. I keep a group of men around me where we keep each other in check.
Yes,
And
sir.
I think that's very, very important, is to have a system. Like they say, therapy is great, but you have to have an outlet where you have to have someone that'll keep you. We'll go back to the word humble. You have to have someone that'll keep you in line, someone that'll keep you in check, and let you know, hey man, you can talk to me about it. I'm not gonna say everything you want to hear, but you do have a place where you can talk.
Right. And that, I want to add to that by saying the second part of the statement that I read to y'all earlier. True humility is the antidote. Once you're humble enough with self, your mindset is right, where even if somebody did say something about you, it doesn't affect you as much. And you're just so humble, you can say, yes, this happened to me, and it's okay. Yes, I did this, and you're okay. Once you get to that point, and you don't let that shame or that guilt dictate how you move forward, then you're ready to take the next step to the next level. And it's all a part of this first phase of the XY perspective, managing your emotions. As men, we have a difficult time expressing emotion, dealing with emotion, uh, letting emotion dictate everything that goes on. And we're not supposed to be so emotional as men. It's okay to have emotion. That's human. But it's not okay to be overly emotional where it starts to impact every single decision, every single choice you make in a negative way. So, any comments on that? before I
Hey,
go to the next.
so since we're talking about that, let me ask every gentleman on here: do you think that you're an introvert or extrovert?
It depends on what day it is. It depends. It depends on what's going on.
Come
I'm
on,
a
I
20.
am a
now. You know the
people
answer.
person, but I don't like
Come on now.
people.
That's
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
interesting.
I'll wait. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Well, you introvert then. You introvert.
No, I'm a people person. I'm around people all the time. I'm always around people. When I'm around people, I
Well,
bring life. I
do
bring
you
joy.
express
I don't have
yourself?
a problem being around people.
Do you
I
express
just don't
yourself
like
when
people.
you're talking to them, though?
Say that again.
Do you express yourself when you're talking to them?
Oh yeah, all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
But I
Jesse
don't like
Archie
people.
has no problem
Yeah, I have no problem
expressing.
expressing myself. However, I don't like people. I prefer to be alone. I like it quiet.
Yeah.
And like maybe it has a lot to do with, like I said, the field I'm in is always loud. There's always chaos. So
Okay.
I like to go to a place where it's quiet, where there's nobody talking to me. You know, I find it therapeutic to talk to myself because I am my biggest critic.
Oh
And
yeah, I
and
totally.
I will check myself all the time. Yeah, Jesse, that's your fault. That's on you. And
I'm
I'm
with you.
very good at checking myself.
I'm with you,
But
brother. I'm with you, brother.
I,
I'm
I
with
am I am an extrovert that hates people.
you.
An extrovert that hates people. That's definitely a new
Oh yeah. I'm gonna
introvert.
talk.
Marcus,
I'm
you
gonna
know me.
Under,
You know I don't like people. But you also
look,
know me in the crowd of people. You know me.
yeah,
yes, yes,
yeah.
yes,
I'm
yes.
calling everybody. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, you know what though? That all stemmed from me being shy as a kid. Believe it or not,
Right,
Mark. You
right,
know me
right.
for a long time.
That brought the man out in me. That brought the man out.
If are you an introvert, Uncle Dre?
Go ahead. Somebody else go ahead. Somebody else go ahead.
Yes, introvert.
Me, I'm both.
Yes. Yes, I would say so.
Okay, okay. And you're both. That you're
I'm
both.
yeah. I'm both.
I think I'm a tweener myself.
I'm
Justin
comfortable by
Justin
myself,
Jones
or if I need to be with somebody.
in the chat room said he's both as well. He's both introvert and extrovert. Um, just real quick, does your guilt or shame cause you to have any anger? Anyone?
Say that again.
Does your guilt or shame cause you to have anger?
Oh no, my anger comes from somewhere else. No.
No?
That's
Where's that?
no for me as well.
No?
Nah.
Where is the anger in that? Where does that come from?
Ooh, I hate stupid people. I have a zero tolerance for stupidity.
Okay,
That's where my anger comes from.
okay. That
I, for me, and again, I like to keep me in perspective. I will not allow anything or anyone to press a button to make me angry, because that has more control of me than I do, and I
okay,
just refuse to go there.
okay.
Mess and foolishness are the two biggest things that I stay away from. I know it's there, and I know it's coming, and I know I'm going to have to deal with it with various people that you come in contact with.
Yes, sir.
But I feed it with a very long handled spoon, and I move on.
Okay. Uncle Dre?
Well, and that's why I kind of stay to myself, man. I I am very selective
Okay.
with people that I deal with um, outside of my family, and I'll give you an example. So when you grow up, typically uh, you have friends, right?
Mhm.
I grew up with a twin brother.
Okay.
We did everything together. Okay. I had two friends. I say it again, two friends growing up. Everybody's definition of a friend is different. Okay. Some people call what I call associates a friend. And so I had two friends. To me, a friend is somebody that I will do anything for, and vice versa. And so I don't. I don't have very many, and I stay away from a lot of people because I'm very particular about how I do things or what I do. I stay to myself quite a bit for that reason, man.
Okay. If if,
Yep.
if if your anger is truly embedded, and what do you do as men to help deal with that? And you can answer this in the chat too.
You
What
said
do
if
you do
your anger is truly embedded. I didn't hear the first part.
if your anger is embedded? It's deep down, and like we all have something that we could have dealt with, I guess. Either anger or frustration or something. What do you do as a man
I
to help
break glass.
yourself deal with it?
I break glass. Seriously, no, seriously, like a glass bottle. You because there's something about the glass shattering, and I'm not talking about like throwing glasses up against the wall or nothing weird like that. But like I may bust it on the ground in the garage or even in the driveway, and I know that no matter what happens on this earth, that piece of glass can never be put back together. And then I'll get a broom and I'll be so happy. I'll sweep it all up. I'll make sure no pieces are left behind. And it's a release for me. It is. It's a because I get the worst part about me getting angry is the fact that I got angry. And that's what eats at me the most. The fact that it upset me to the point to where I'm angry.
Mhm.
And so I hope I have a bottle somewhere and I could just break it. I buy cheap tools because I will break a tool if it's not functioning properly. And I've broken expensive tools and had to replace them. So, I buy cheaper tools that I know I'm going to break and keep my expensive stuff put up. But, just the destruction of something that can never be put back together, that doesn't bother anyone else. Like I said, that's important. Me breaking this glass can't bother anyone else either. So if my daughter's out there, I can't. It's not a good time to break the glass. We'll hold on to it. But it's a really good release for me, and it works for me.
Okay.
But I'm different. Sorry, it's a little weird. I know.
Mr. Brad, my anger is racism, black on black crime, um, rape. Those are my angers right there.
How
Okay.
do you
And
deal with that anger though?
how do you deal with
I go back and talk to my family and make sure they. I mean, I got so many stories to tell y'all. Y'all lose your damn mind.
it? Huh?
I
Well,
deal with it. So I just have to hear about it. If that make any sense.
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, what is your out though? What is your after hearing that and it gets to you? What is your how do you vent that? Do you just keep it
So
all
what
in?
I do is call them back and say, "Hey, how you doing? How we gonna communicate about this? How we gonna fix it?
Okay.
Um, how we don't let this happen again?"
Okay. So you approach it in a conversational type way and talk it down.
That's all I can do because I'm in California. Hell, then goddamn Detroit. Shit.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Yes, sir. Uncle Craig.
well, for me, man, I've been married for a long time, like 35 plus or something like that, man. And so
Hey,
Mr. Simmons is the smoothest man on the planet.
congratulations.
thank you. What I typically do is my wife and I sit down and conversate, man. We talk about it. She's my outlet. Uh, Truth be told, she's my therapist, my wife, my everything. But we do talk quite a bit about things that bother me. She's my friend. She's the go-to, and I give it to her, and we talk about it, how to, how to deal with it and things like that. Um,
But
and I'll say this. Go ahead. What's the question?
I was going to say, for those who don't have 35 plus under their belt, what would you recommend?
They step their game up and start listening, talking to their wives.
Well, listen, man. I mean, I haven't, I avoided one of your questions earlier.
Mhm.
So we go way back, man. I mean, she's a person that I'm comfortable with, right? We've dealt with so many things in our marriage. I got married when I was 19, and uh, she just been there for me, man. That's the person I talk to about pretty much everything. My wife, man, and we deal with things together. uh, Let me say this too for those who haven't been married or are in a marriage, and you're trying to make it. Marriage is work. Okay, it is not easy. It is never going. There's a saying out there where marriage is 50-50. That's a lie. Straight out lie, because there are going to be times when you have to give more than your other half, right? You're going to have to carry them. Sometimes you're going to be giving 80 and they giving 20, and
Mr.
all that.
Simmons,
so
can I
so
can I
so
can I can I ask you what does that mean by carry them?
carry them. That means that when they're emotionally, you know, toe up, or they got issues going on and they can't carry their half of the commitment, you pick it up for them. That's what you do when you're in a union, right? That's
Sir,
what I mean when I say carry them.
I've
If
been married for
she's
35 years myself.
I appreciate that because people need to understand what that whole 50-20 or 50-50, 80-20 split means and that's why I want you to explain carrying them, because carrying them in today's generation, everybody immediately thinks it's financial. But
well,
like I said, I like the way you
it can
explained
be.
but the way you explained it was even better because it was like emotionally, she's not able to give you that 50-50. So you got to pick up that emotionally. And that was important. You know what I'm saying? I think people should really, really hear that part.
It's any way that is needed. It don't matter what it is, right? It's whatever is needed. You picking up where your other half falls short,
Yes, sir.
whatever it might be,
Yes, sir.
right? And you have to put forth an effort. Nowadays, people, and I'm going off track. I'm sorry, Mark.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
the
You're good.
question
This is
was,
knowledge. Keep giving it to me.
how do I deal with anger and embedded anger? I communicate with my wife, man, and a lot of times I'm giving her stuff she ain't really don't even want it, but she knows that she's my go-to and vice versa. So that's what it is.
Yes, sir. That.
Well, he made some very good points there, and being able to know that there are times when it's your turn to carry the load, and you have to. Sometimes it's going to be the majority. We all don't feel our very best every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are times when you're in a relationship when it's your turn to carry, and obviously vice versa. When you're not able to carry, that person is there to be that comfort for you, just to talk to you, just to let you know it's going to be all right. Here's what we can do. Here's a possible solution. Let's work toward this. Let's see if we can maybe move this in this direction and see if it'll work out better. Those words of encouragement, to be able to be there to if you don't do anything else but be there
Mhm.
and give those words to say, I got you. No problem.
Yes, sir.
Let's not go over the deep end about this. It's not the end of the world. And if you are an analytical person like I am, you'll look for solutions. I'm a solution finder.
Yeah.
I learned that very early in my life. I look for ways to make it better. What
Yes,
is the answer to
sir.
whatever it is? There is an answer, there's a solution. And even if it's not there immediately, let's work toward it. So if this comes up again, we'll know what the solution is, and we'll be able to not only help ourselves, but if there are children, family members, loved ones who may run into the same type scenario, we may be able to be those words of encouragement for them as well.
Yes, sir. And for me, the whole thing with dealing with anger, I can go with my wife if I wanted to, but sometimes I try to manage it internally. And for a lot of guys that don't have a significant other or that spouse to go to,
Mhm.
they have to have that other outlet as well. If you don't have a mentor, if you don't have a hobby, you don't have a job that you can go to just get away and just not allow the anger to consume you. Because as men, that's the easiest emotion to express is anger.
Yeah.
And for us, as black men, they always seem to think we just are present. They have fear of it, and it allows them to think, oh man, he looks like this big black boy. Yeah, I'm trying to stay user friendly, but they fear it. And if you get frustrated or you show any kind of anger or resentment, you get judged hard. So it's mean we got to learn how to deal with that anger in a more positive way. And if you can't or you don't want to go to therapy, if you don't have that significant other spouse, if you don't have that, you must find a way to get it from here out of you so you can place it with positive energy.
Like a
And that was the
hobby.
purpose of that
Okay,
question.
see, because that
Hobby.
answers that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say a hobby of some sort. Some play sports, basketball, recreational sports. I go to the range, right, and put some rounds down range. I do that. There's
Like that.
you find an outlet, right? Like you
Yes,
said,
I get on my
those
boat.
things you can do.
I get on the boat and go in the water.
That
That's
too.
another good outlet for me too.
I need to come get on that boat.
Hey, come on. We can do the
I need
podcast. I got this little island on this lake I go to. We can do the whole show from there.
Hey, I can dig it.
And
Houston is a
I think I got your names mixed up earlier. I apologize, but Mr. Simmons, you're invited too.
Thank you, sir.
but I got another question. But I just want to say I appreciate all you guys' answers. And if you're watching in the comments in the chat, answer the question, go along with it. I'm put you up there on the screen, so you'll be well represented. No wrong answer. There are no wrong answers in the XY perspective. We're going over shame and guilt, and sometimes shame and guilt impacts us in a way where we don't even realize. So, do you gentlemen know, or by directly or indirectly, has shame or guilt shaped relationship choices, specifically relationship choices as an adult?
I guess the married men can't really answer that. I guess they could, but they've already answered. So I'll go first.
Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, okay. Shane, there was this young lady I was dating. I absolutely like this young lady. She was 100% my type, everything, 100% down. And one night, we're talking and this, that, and the other. She said something, and I say something back to her. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, what I'm saying? The last girl did that, man. I don't want you to make the same mistake she did. And that girl stopped talking to me that night. When I bumped into her again, she was like, that's just not something you tell a woman. And I'm a kid. I was 20 years old. And, I've lived with that, but I remember that. And I guess it went from shame to a life lesson, which is what someone spoke of in the beginning. But, yeah, the shame of that always made me think of my words from that point on.
Yes, sir. Sir. Anyone?
Sir, he's 100% correct. Yeah, I mean, just in my opinion, a relationship is not necessarily just with a woman. A relationship is what me and you, Mr. Brad, me and you, Mr. Simmons. A relationship goes all the way around with everybody you're involved with in your life. That's just my opinion. And if you make that work right, then everything will be okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, I agree with that. Working in relationships is a never ending task. Your things to do list will always have something on it because it goes from person to person. For me, early in life, the choices that I made, I saw them come back to me because the dumb and stupid things, Fred Sanford would have had a field day with me, you big dummy. In the way that I carried myself, in the way I thought I was this, and I thought that I was the one
Hey,
carrying
that was Lamont.
everybody everywhere.
Lamont.
But as the word of God, as I continued to learn, I did it, and he brought it right back to me through the same people that I started getting involved with. They started doing the same thing, and it was right back on me from doing what I had did to somebody else early. Now I see it again, and it's come back, and it's even worse because now it's happening to me. That second time around brought me to the perspective of understanding that you just don't need to do wrong and think you can get away with it. You can disguise it in any kind of way you think you can, but the truth is going to finally come to the light. And those shames shaped the relationships because, again, I didn't look for people like that anymore. I kind of recognized those types of personality just by simply looking at myself first and foremost. Then I saw it in other people as well, so I recognized it. So those are the things that I stayed away from to give me a little bit better peace within my own perspective of life.
Okay. You muted yourself.
Yeah, I was just saying that I'll be very brief with my answer, and the answer is yes. Period. I'm not going into detail. Yes.
I'm gonna have to get you on a one-on-one show so we can go into details of some of your answers. Because
Forgive me, man. Some
you playing.
things.
I understand. I respect it. I respect it. What I say from me, man. Growing up, I even now, my circle of friends consists of probably the people on the panel, and most of us relate. So I can tell you right now, I got pushed around. I got bullied. I was real small when I was younger. So people I was one of those people that called everybody that should have been associates, I called them friends. And I got my feelings hurt a lot. So I didn't trust people. I had one true friend that I wasn't related to this whole time, Jesse Archer. I had one true friend in the military since I met him, Leonard. Of course, my dad and my uncle. These are my people I call friends. That's it. This is it. So the people that caused all that hurt my feelings, I couldn't trust people to be my friend. Like y'all said, a friend is somebody you can count on, you can call on, you can depend on. I didn't have that people. I didn't have a lot of people. I had two. And I think I speak for a lot of men to say the same thing. We don't have those entrusted people we can rely on to help us, or we can go to. Maybe it's your pastor, maybe it's that long-term mentor, but most of us don't have anybody. We suffer in silence by ourselves. And this is what we're trying to combat right now by opening up a venue like this where men can come in, talk to other men, not be judged, and let things get out in the open so you're not carrying all this unnecessary baggage.
Yeah.
And we had Justin Jones come in and so said, we always do things we regret. Sometimes people forgive us for our mistakes. and it calls a shame and guilt. And I agree with that statement very much. We always do things with regret because nobody was perfect. But you must let go of your feeling thing if you want that anger to go away. And the only way you can deal with the anger and the shame is to be humble, truly humble. But you have to renew your mind. You got to renew your thought, how you move, make decisions. And it has to be grounded spiritually. I think as a fully grown man. I mean, you can disagree with me if you want to, but I think you have to be grounded spiritually once you fully grown to be able to be humble enough to deal with that anger and shame and guilt.
I agree with that 100%, man. There's a song, "We Fall Down, but We Get Up."
Yes, sir.
But the spirituality part, man, I'm not a Bible scholar or pastor. I don't have a title at all, man. I'm just a servant, a lonely servant, right? And but we have to lead a life, man, where we understand that we are not the author of anything. We're
Yes, sir.
just not, man, right? And I'm not gonna get into all of the biblical thing, but we're not in charge of anything, man. We have a reason for being here on earth, man, and that is to spread the word.
Yes, sir.
Period.
Yes, sir.
That's what we gotta do.
Does anybody know what forgiveness is? Forgiveness.
Yes, it's that thing that's very hard to do for me.
Okay. Yes. Yes, sir.
Well,
See, I'm putting your stories together. Now I'm getting all your answers. I'm
Okay,
putting them
so
together.
so
We
now
don't go
now
through
now we do when you say forgive,
forgiveness.
like forgiveness. Okay, do I forgive you? To forgive is forgive to forget? Is it? That's a question I'm asking.
Uh-uh. No.
Okay, because yeah, I can
I
forgive
mean,
people.
I can say I'm sorry, but I ain't gonna forget.
No, see, I can. I mean, but at the same time, do you even have to accept that apology? Do you have to accept the apology?
No,
Like, I
no,
can move on.
that's just my opinion. No, you don't. You don't.
Okay, because yeah, I can move on.
you should.
I can easily move on. I will deal with you differently from that point on.
Right.
I won't even hate you. But you know what I'm saying? Just know you'll be dealt with different. But forgive is easy, I think.
Yep.
It's the don't forget though, because if you do it once,
Forgiveness.
shame on me. Do it twice.
I can forgive. I
Fool
just
me,
can't.
can't fool me again.
Yeah. Shame on me the first time, right?
I was quoting George Bush. I'm sorry.
the
But yeah, I mean, forgive. Yeah, I can forgive.
what I was going to say was the act of forgiveness is for you, not for. And if you choose to entertain that afterwards, then now that's going to be on you. And a lot of us as God, we hold this rage, we hold this anger, we hold this resentment, we carry, drag along. We cannot forgive the person. And you don't know what they did to me.
What it is, I think is deeper than that. I think that as black men, we are taught to forgive and forget. Everyone has heard this over the course of their life. They've heard it in church, they heard it in school, they've heard it everywhere. Forgive and forget. And but no one ever really explained what forgive and forget meant to you. They just told you to do it. And so no one knows how to forgive and forget. So like I said, yeah, I can forgive you and I will not hate you. I mean, unless you do
But I
something
won't
where
forget
I
it.
have to.
Don't forget it.
But you know what I'm saying? I know that this is who you are. You know what I'm saying? We're too trusting of everyone, which is why we have to forgive everyone so often. Does that make sense? Because we're always told, oh, just forgive them. You know what I'm saying? But, but we're taught to trust people, and but nah. I mean, like I said, it's kind of something that we've been taught for so long, and I think that's why it's so hard for people to really, really get a good understanding of it. But it, like I said, it is easy to forgive you. I mean, I accept your apology, or I mean, I don't even accept your apology. However, I'm not mad at you. You know, that's it is what it is, and that happened. That ain't gonna happen again. And you know, let's move on.
Because I think Tony Spencer touched on it earlier, and you did too, Jesse. If it gets to the point where I'm mad, then I fail myself because I shouldn't allow stupid stuff to get me off my square, get me off my
Bingo.
zone. I,
Bingo. That's it right
that's
there.
beneath it. A lot of stuff is, and not that I'm all high and mighty, but I got too much to do, man. I got too much stuff to do, too many places to go, too many people to see. You sitting around mad because yeah, you're you're over here doing all this crazy stuff, and I'm letting you control me and make me make stuff you do, and nah, I just get frustrated at myself with that. So I think we all touched on that. But
That's
I
why it's
think
good to
Tony
find a
said something.
quick vent for that anger, because you need to quickly vent that, because that's not good for you. That's the anger that causes heart attacks. You know, that's the anger that causes strokes. You need a quick vent for that. And like I said, mine is a little unorthodox, but it works for me. But you know what I'm saying, we need to be able to find, even if maybe, you know, people need to go out to screaming in the backyard or something. I don't know. But you gotta get rid of that, because you build, when you get angry like that, you build up a pressure inside your body. And if you don't release that pressure, you know, you'll end up with high blood pressure and a stroke.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you a quick task. I want each of you to give, it's theoretical. If you were talking to a group right now, what would you tell them about shame and guilt and what they can do with it? Or what would you tell?
Well, you were breaking up on my end. Can you repeat that?
I'm sorry about that. I said if you were talking to a group of young men
Mhm.
and you had to tell them about shame and guilt and what they can do about it in their life, what would you tell them?
Hey, Mr. Brad, that's kind of unfair because I don't know what everybody else went through in their life about shame and guilt. That's kind of
Okay.
unfair.
No, I think it's fair, because you don't have to know what they went through to understand that
In
they're
general.
going through something.
Well, I can only explain my side of shame and guilt. I can't
You
explain.
can't, but you have to explain it in a sense like this, where like, listen, you know, this is what happened. You're not going to be able to change what has already happened. So you take that shame right there that you have in whatever your situation is, and you need to take this moment to make a change in your life. What are you going to do with your life from this moment on? Because you know what I'm saying? You don't have to relate to their shame to explain to them how to move that shame. You
Oh,
take
I
this
get.
situation,
I
and
get.
then you can move this into this, and we can get you into a better place, or you're gonna end up where you headed, which is either, you know, whatever that situation may end with.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's
I understand
make
what you're
it
saying.
easy
It
and
makes
leave
sense.
it in general. In
That makes
general. I don't think it has to be specific, but what would you tell them in general?
I would tell them exactly that. You
Okay.
need to take your situation that you are in right now. I don't even care to know what your situation is. You need to
sense.
take your situation right here, and you need to either use this as a stepping stone and a learning block, or, you know, stepping block, whatever, or you're going to use this as the direction that your life is headed in. So
Right.
I don't need, you know what I'm saying? They can say, well, you don't understand. I don't have to understand exactly your situation, but you know what I'm saying? We are humans. You are not the only person ever in that. And you have a choice to make. You take that shame and you can either build from it, or it can let it destroy you. It's your choice. But here's an opportunity for you to do better.
That
I
makes
was like,
sense.
and I don't even, and then you tell them, I don't even have to know your business to know that this is an opportunity to do better.
Okay.
I got you.
And you know what I'm saying? You turn it back on them in the sense of, you know, it's your choice. You can be ashamed and sit in the corner, but that's, you know, how do you move if you're sitting still?
Yes, sir.
How do you move forward if you're sitting still? That's, you know.
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. Yeah, you talking all the right things. You talking all the right things. I won't put you in front of my son. Tell him the same thing you telling me.
I made a lot of mistakes. And I can spend my whole life being ashamed of my mistakes, or I can move past them. And in the course of my life, I have dealt with people that made the same mistakes as me, and they honestly expect me to help them come forward versus me giving them the tools to come forward. And you can be in my position versus working under me. And so I've had a lot of opportunities to be in a lot of these situations. And
And
I've told people to make a choice. You
that's
know,
all
I've told people, you know what I'm saying, you are either going to do this or you are going to be fired. You know,
right.
I had
Right.
to get my daughters. I'm never mind.
We
It
got a
doesn't matter.
whole lot
But
going on.
I've had a whole lot of people, and I've made a lot of mistakes.
Sorry, go
So
ahead.
I don't allow people to use the mistakes that they've made as an excuse for why they can't move forward. Because I say all the time, I don't tell people my story until it's time to tell them. And then I tell them, man, this is my story. Boom. Same situation as you, but look at where I am and look at where you are. You letting that hold you back, and you can't move forward. But I'm in the same situation 2 times over, and yet look at where I am. I was like, it's a choice, man. You have to make that choice. I was like, man, you can't keep using that excuse. And this is just like I said, this is like real life experience that I've been dealing with, and I've made people make these choices. So I've kind of been doing this for a while, but it's not like on a broad sense. It's more of a like through.
So
I've done construction my
how,
whole adult life.
how old are you?
I'm 40. I'll be 45 in August.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm still young too, but
yeah,
like I said, I made my mistakes
I
early and
agree.
had to build from there. I would have been in my position 15 years ago had I not made the mistakes that I made.
Yes, sir.
So
You
I
know what?
don't allow people to let the mistakes hold them back, and the shame can't hold you back. You have to move forward, or you will be where you are. Make a
I'm sorry,
choice.
Mr. Brad. I'm sorry, Mr. Brad. Take over. Take over, sir.
Now I got two other people. Two other people.
Uh, let me say I heard the one word generalization. If you're going to talk to a group, generalize it as much as you possibly can. Uh, that way you're not being too specific, but yet you want to take some specific instances and generalize it so that you can touch as many as you can with the example or the scenario or the perspective in which you're going to be speaking from. Trying to understand everybody, you'll miss someone. Jesus did the same thing. He gave us these parables and he generalized it in a way in which it touched everyone because they could see from the perspective he was given where it played a part even in their own life.
Yes, sir.
And this is difficult for some, easier for others. There are some people who are not comfortable speaking to others in a open setting. Now you get them on a one-on-one, they may have a little bit better success rate. But to explain and to talk about a topic, especially shame, uh, this is something most people are not comfortable with, let alone talking about it or hearing it being said to them
Yes, sir.
because it fits them. And a lot of people just don't want to be dealing with that because it brings back probably things that they are not comfortable with. And you just said it, you're ashamed of it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
fact.
gotta forgive me. This is something I was passionate about. I do apologize. I got a little fired up there.
It's,
Mhm.
it's all right.
But
It's all
that's the
right.
reason why a format like this helps others to hear it from someone who may be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more adept to speaking to it. And for some, it's emotional. It's probably better that I don't say anything about it. It's probably better that I keep it very short and brief. What did you say, sir? Yes. That's a good answer.
That is good.
And sometimes that's the best answer to give. Then you throw them out some tidbits. If you have someone you can turn to, if you have a friend that's close to you that you trust, if you have a pastor, even if the church is not a part of your life, find if you can, even if it's music. What does the gentleman say? Break some glass and sweep it up. Because again, at some point, you're going to need
Yeah.
someone or something that can help you. If you're not married and you don't have a helpmate, well, then there are other avenues, but you have to be willing to seek it. And younger people, like me myself, when I was that young, I just didn't know any better.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Life taught me, and I had a grandfather that kept us rooted in the church. Thank God for that. And there's nothing I wouldn't take for the word of God right now, because I know from whence I've come.
Yes, sir.
So we have to be able to understand that if we're going to mentor others, we have to know how to reach them by being a little bit more open ourselves, to be able to let in what needs to come out of us.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Uncle Jerry.
Ditto. No, but
Good.
seriously,
Good.
you when you're dealing with shame and guilt, man, you have to understand everybody has something, right, that they're shameful of in one form or fashion. So nobody is above it. And the other gentleman, Jesse, I think his name is, you have to be able to move on from those shameful periods in your life, man. And it can be hard at times, but you have to have an outlet to vent, to somebody to speak to, so that you can become better and learn from whatever that shameful act or experience was. Plain and simple.
What I
Oh,
want to say,
you misunderstood me. I'm me personally. I've already overcome my shame and use that as lessons for others. Uh, so the shame or guilt that, yeah, I don't have the shame or guilt anymore. Those are all things that I've learned from. But I was expressing how when I speak to others, how the conversation goes, and that's where you have to explain it to them in the same fashion. You have to let them know that, you got to make the choice to move on from it. Like I said, I know that everything that I'm ashamed from is something that helped me become who I am. So I'm no longer ashamed of that. It's not everybody's story. And if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. But, you know, we need to be, I'm really passionate about this one because I deal with a lot of guys, and like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes. And
I want,
and
I want,
people use those mistakes as reasons why we can't move forward, especially in the Black community. So we need to do our job of talking to these youth, and that's what this is about. Getting a message to them that, hey man, it's time to make a choice. Does that sound right, or did I say it
well,
wrong again?
that's what I wanted to add to you, is that the passion that you speak with, it can reach people at certain level. You got to meet them where they are. And sometimes they need that bluntness to cut through the fog that may be blinding. They can't see straight. They're lost.
Yeah,
And
but
they need a light to cut through that.
what you're saying is, we have to make it easy for them when life isn't going to make it easy for them.
Well,
I
not that at
strongly
all.
disagree with that situation because some people can't take the blunt, honest truth, but at the same time, we all need it because the world's not going to stop and slow down for us to
Well,
catch up to it, and we can't keep teaching that. Okay, well, hold on, we'll slow it down for you. Because the longer we teach, slow it down for you, the further back we get.
right. That's how I was going to finish. With the statement is sometimes the bluntness is good, but sometimes you need to, like Tony said, be more open to let in what they need to get out. Because you may have it in you, but if you come out too strong, you'll push them away. That's why I said it's a group. I gave the example as a group. You have to generalize and get like that shotgun blast out and get everybody. And it has to be skimming the surface because you hit some people too hard, they'll run away from you. And we don't want to lose anybody. We want to take with us as many as we can because each one can teach one. And that's how we continue to progress and get the message forward. So, Jim, I don't have any more questions, but I do have one more thing I want to say out. First of all, thank you all for your contribution to the conversation tonight. Thank you for being part of it. That's why I respect it as a panel member. I know it's a task I give y'all each month, and it's a couple hours each month that you got to come on here and share your soul. So I appreciate you guys putting out the information. But we do this for everyone else. And what I wanted to tell the other people, especially in the part of shame and guilt, is I want to give them a Bible verse. And it's Jesus wept. Shortest verse, should be easy to remember. Why do I give you that verse? Because Jesus was, by the Bible, a perfect person. Didn't commit any sinful act, Son of God, or God wrapped in flesh, however you want to describe it. He was a perfect person. And things got so bad for him, he cried. So, and it was okay for him. You're not Jesus. You're not God. You're not perfect. It's okay to cry. Maybe you don't do it in public. Maybe you don't do it in front of people. You got to go in the bathroom, go in the closet. You know, do all that. It's okay. You're human. You have emotions. It is okay. You can't carry it around. There's no secret sauce, no special message. It's okay to cry sometimes. And if you can bring yourself to tears and release some of that negative emotion, you'll feel a lot better. So I hope you guys can gather that information up and take it with you. That Jesus wept. So can I. And it's okay. Mr. Simmons, we're gonna
Yes, sir.
bring this meeting to an adjourn. And again, I want to thank everybody for being part of the XY Perspective Night. If you could give us a prayer out.
I'll be honored to do it, sir.
Yes, sir.
Heavenly Father, we come again, always giving you the praise, the honor, and all of the glory. For you have truly been true to your word. You've kept us. You've never left us, nor have you forsaken us. And Father, we thank you for not giving us any more than we can bear. For you truly know who we are. And we just want to thank you for this perspective program where men can come and share and be empowered through each other in the way that you would have this to be. We give you the honor, the praise, and the glory through your blessed Son, Jesus' precious and holy name. Let every heart that know his name, trust in his name, and believe in his name, say amen.
Amen.
Gentlemen, next month, we coming again. We are not going to do letter to our Father. We are not going to do that for next month. We are going to move to phase 2, the accountability phase. The next call is going to be accountability versus responsibility. It's going to get action packed. So I will get the flyer out for everybody that's watching on YouTube, Facebook. Next month, going down again. Hope you all can join us then. The panel's going to be ready. I'm going to be ready. And we're going to have a good time. Accountability versus responsibility. Gentlemen, anything else to add tonight?
No.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for having us.
All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good night, and we'll bring this session to a close. Thank you all.
Yeah.
All right.